here on a glorious December day at Genesteel Stadium with the Pres, Dave Cvetkovski. Dave, when you reflect back on 2025, what comes to mind in terms of what the club's achieved and what's still there to obtain?
It's interesting, Josh, because we do these, I think we've done them every year almost for the last 7 years, and it's our opportunity to probably thank, first of all, the amazing supporters, members, sponsors and all of our players and parents that we've got around the club. What a journey. What would you have said 12 months ago? You have a good insight into this club, but what would you have said 12 months ago was our KPI for the year? What were we trying to achieve?
I think establishing ourselves as a top flight NPL club, and contesting finals football would have been a bonus on top of that, and to get to a semi-final, I think is and above and beyond probably expectations of any promoted team that's gone up to the top flight in the past 20 years of Victorian football. So I think you have to give it a pass mark in terms of the performances of the senior team, and some of the positive headlines that have been generated out of the club, like the 9,500 that were here against South Melbourne. I've been chasing that feeling ever since, let me tell you, as a commentator, seeing that those thronging crowds come through the gates.
What crowds were we talking about in 2019?
Well, when I turned up for my first home game on a Sunday afternoon in State League One, I don't think they called fouls in those competitions. It was a lot of
if we
long
could get
ball
1,000 or 1,500, it was celebrating.
I think 1,200 people maybe, and it was a crowd that 80% of the crowd could fit into the change rooms afterwards to sing the team song.
Yeah.
So and it was sardines in there, but it was still it's on a different level now. The growth of the club after all those promotions and all the hype that's been generated around this resurgence. So. No, it's really gratifying to see how far we've come, and going into next year, I think there's a lot to be excited about, particularly with Zoran Markovski coming in.
Yeah, and that's like when we set out as a club, because there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. Budgets are up 7-10-fold, revenue, expenses, men, women, juniors program, juniors being accepted into what used to be called the NPL. The boys, the girls are in there. Close to 450 kids. We're looking at other sites as well for flow over of our kids. The improvement of infrastructure, be it resows of the ground, the asphalt projects being done. Council's at the front building a brand new football as we speak, footpath as we speak, and today we're looking at the synthetic product. We got the grant for 1.5 million. So when we look at it, I think as a club, we don't want to go backwards fiscally was the first challenge. We wanted stability. Inside would we have loved to make the finals as we did? Yes, we're competitors, so we're always looking at that with Lou, and a lot to thank. 9 years of Lou on this project. He wasn't the coach. He was infrastructure manager, women's selection and helper, juniors helper and things like that. So
club psychologist.
So it was not to embarrass ourselves and to yo-yo, to create some stability. For the very first time, we need to map as a club fiscally, which we've never done, and I don't think many clubs have done. What does it look like to run a program virtually 12 months with? So we played 26 season games, 2 finals, 28, plus 6 Australia Cup, 34 games, Australian champion. We played probably mid-30s games. So we wanted to honour our commitments. We wanted to keep growing. So, stability, growth as we transition to next year, which I think now, and listening to Zoki and all these guys over there, is, Zoki's about success. He comes with a new energy. He's had a break. For us, the timing couldn't be, Lou was getting tired. It's been a long 9 years. He's still here as an advisor, working behind the scenes. Best mates with Zoki.
He tried to resign on you about 7 or 8 times.
Probably 7 or 8 times, and that was just in 21, 22. I've had to beg him. I've had to beg him multiple times to finish what was the project to get us to where we're at. And this club has honoured him and the people. They know his status with this club, and he doesn't seek it out. And you got Zocchi's coming in with what have you made of him?
Well, I mean, I've been following Zocchi's coaching for quite a few years. He's always had a lot of time for me, so I've been grateful for that, and I've always had a lot of time for his teams.
Yeah.
Just a very brave, gung-ho kind of approach, combined with a real competitive intensity. It's a rare blend, and it does get me pretty excited to think about that sort of football being played here in front of these fans.
Yeah. So, and that's when we exciting signings as we sit here today. You've been very fortunate in seeing. I think there's six signings that we'll share with our community, with the members, with the supporters, sponsors. The place is thriving. We've had SEN membership week this week, and people are clicking over. The sponsors, I think we're 36 signed up within a week to all the kits for the men, women and juniors. We're now going up for the tracksuits and the polo. So when you look at the club holistically in terms of where we were, where we are this year, hey, do I want to win everything? Absolutely, I'd love to win everything. And I'm a competitor. I want to go deeper next year. And Zocchi, we want to deliver some success. We'll continue to do so.
So what are some of the messages you want to put out there to the supporters of this great club in the off-season as we, the scrutiny increases and the attention increases on this club with every passing year?
Yeah, and as I said, we've gone from 1,500 people to many instances 5K, 4K, 3K, 9K, and with that, we've got more security, more marshals, we've got more staff cooking, more volunteers. We've just got to be mindful of the excitement of this brand. We are a big club, and we want to be a big club, and we want all the people to come in here and enjoy it and take care of the club, the product, and each other. I think that's very important to us. There's no hiding that we've had some challenges. That comes with some growing pains, but I know the Preston faithful out there, all and sundry. They care for this club, and they're the reason why the club is where it's at. That the popularity, but with that we've just got to take care of what we've got and not let the hard work be undone. And
we're bound by not our own rules and standards. Of course, there's those as well, but also the rules of the federations, the codes of conduct that are enforced from on high. And if the club and the fans don't abide by those, there's always consequences.
Yeah. I'm not the FA. I'm not the FE. Unfortunately, the board and
you don't
myself,
chair the tribunal?
The last place I want to be for. I think I spent about 10 hours in the tribunal and the appeal, and we're going through that process. But even little things like be it flags. The FV and the FA have their rules around flags. We don't want to be reprimanded. We don't want to be punished anymore. We've got to abide by these rules. The rules are there for us to continue to be a great club, and for most of it, for 99%, unbelievable atmosphere here. And I know what I am. I know what I am, who I am, and what I stand for. And we won't deviate from that. But we need to also respect the rules that we've got. The governing bodies.
And I know it's the last thing on your priority list, or the last thing you really want to be doing is being hall monitor. But sometimes you got to be the bad guy every now and again.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it. It is what it is. It comes with the territory when you sign up or don't sign up. When Zach goes, you're going to be the next president, and you don't have too much of a choice. You take it on, and I'm so proud. I'm privileged. I always say it. I'm proud and I'm privileged, and I carry around the nomination form for the committee. So I'm always hoping, please, if anyone wants to come and join the committee, please come on board and help us. I reckon we've probably got 40 to 50 unbelievable people, men and women here, volunteering, whether it be strategically, infrastructure. There's so much infrastructure going on, and people are working, and, we're trying to self-fund things like the asphalt and the grandstand planning. We're continuing to work on all these things, the synthetic ground, to make it a better place for our kids. But and if you're out there and you want to be involved, come put your hand up like all these people here and say, hey, what can I do? There's some incredibly talented people within our community who are helping, and more out there who can come in and just say, hey, what role can I play? Like when you started, you weren't, you were just at little old, what was it called, FNR at the time, and you fell in love with what this club had to offer, and now, mate, I have to call you for an appointment now that you're a big shot caller on SBS and grand finals. What was that experience like for you through the SBS commentator lens, looking at the championship and maybe even looking at our club?
I think it was a real thrill for me because I'm seeing kind of the storylines and things that I'm so passionate about across the NPL, because I think the NPL's got a lot of great stories and a lot of great players and a lot of drama every week for all sorts of different reasons. But it doesn't always have the national attention or the broadcast spotlight that SBS and the Championship has brought. So to see, you know, these Victorian clubs hit the national stage and on, 5-6 camera broadcasts with, wall-to-wall social media coverage it's a real personal thrill for me to be involved in that, obviously. But it's been amazing. I have to say it was weird not being here on some of the match days because some of the commentary is done from
I was getting jitters at some of the games when you're calling up the clubs, Josh. I think I texted you a couple of times. Just correcting some of your wording.
Yeah, I always, final whistle goes into Preston game and go, I've got to interview Louis, or wait, I'm not here. So, there's upsides and downsides to it, but
what exceeded your expectations with? I mean, I think game one we had 39 accredited social media outlets here. The PR was incredible. What was surpassed your expectations as a media mogul in this sport of ours?
Well, the amount of, I guess, media and social media attention, the amount of new people who are suddenly jumping on the bandwagon was at times amusing to me, but also really heartening.
Influence after influence.
Oh, so there's a lot more influences than I knew about.
Yes,
but I even had one of the photographers tell me, who are all these guys? Yeah. Where are they during the season?
And maybe it's a lesson for the local federations.
Yeah.
Engage the kids to come out and create content. There's a benefit to them. There's a benefit to the game to have the coverage, to even, looking at the banners and the partnership with Movember and everything like that. I just think it was really, really well done. And credit to, I credit the entire FA team. This journey for us was 6 years of meetings, and they'll continue because our aim is for this to be something bigger than it actually is, and for us to continue to be involved. It's probably an important message. We wrote and accepted to the FA our position in next year's Australian Championship. As a foundation club, we have certain rights to our agreement. So we're fortunate as one of the foundation clubs that we have accepted our position for next year, which we've got to do.
Credit to you and South Melbourne and all the other clubs who've kind of put aside differences and come together in pursuit of this common goal, because it doesn't happen without the advocacy behind the scenes for years and years and years to get this thing up and running and realised. And credit to FA as well, because I feel like the organisation of the whole thing was very seamless. The travel, the refereeing appointments, everything, even the new VAR system, which has its critics, but I think is an innovation. I'm not sure if
did it cross the line?
No comment.
No, you're not allowed to. I actually thought it did, but that was me.
I think if you don't have conclusive evidence, you've got to stick with the referee's call. That's what they usually say. But
what a great job by Sinisha. Sinisha's a good friend of mine, and credit to him to come from nowhere mid-year and take over the team. He's a good man. He's a good footballing man. So credit to him. So
it's going to be mouth-watering tie next season with Sinisha and Zoc going head-to-head. Two guys who don't like to take a backwards step.
Valentine's Day. Our girls play Heidelberg. And Feb 15, it's Valentine's Day weekend. We play Oakley at Oakley on the Sunday. So bring it on. And that's what it's about. It's the impact Preston has. We call it the Preston effect. And let's
a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, let's go into 26. But to all the supporters, the members, everyone, volunteers, sponsors, just thank you from the executive committee. Please, if you've got questions, as always, come and ask us. There's probably deeper meaning and explanation sometimes than we can even put out over these. We try to share those. It was a great AGM, and just jump on board because that man over there, Mr. Markovski, with the backing still of Mr. Artiski, they won't die wondering, and it's going to be a fun year.
Looking forward to it, mate.